Oh, I'm live. Well, howdy do. How are you? I'm good. I shaved my face last night, as you can clearly tell. I'm not feeling very good, so a lot of different juices and whatnot coming out of my nose, it was just gross and unkempt. And I'm probably going to be sick for at least probably till the end of the week into next week. So probably won't be better until Monday. And I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So I was like, you know what? Just shave it off. Whatever. It's not the end of the world. There's that job. Wow. Wow. That was a weird one. It's at another high rise, 21st. Actually, the unit was a 2-story, so they were split between the 21st and the 22nd floor, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it kind of sucked at the same time. It was awkward. It was really awkward where I had the space I had to work was very awkward because there was this permanent pole. Yo, what's up, dog? There was this permanent pole, like right where I needed to be. It was like wide and all this shit. I got it done though. I was able to complete the task A-OK, no problems. Can you go, dude? Thank you. Damn. So I was able to take care of business, like you do, but see, they hit me up yesterday and they were like, hey, do you want to do this with someone or by yourself? I'm going to do this by myself. I want to bank all that money. Because I probably could have gotten done in maybe 2 hours or so. But it was really weird because the entire second floor of their place is like one giant bedroom. And it's like this whole open thing and all that. And it's cool looking and all that jazz, but it's a room that's like shared with their infant. Like they got like a month-old baby or something. Like 2 months or something like that, really young. And it was so awkward because I started at like 9:30 and it's hard to use my tools because they're so loud and the baby's waking up. So trying to be quiet, not being able to use my drill for at least half of the work that I was doing. I could have been that guy. I could have been that asshole and just used my power tools, no problem. Been loud and shit, got the job done quicker. But that would have been really rude in my eyes. That would have been rude of me to do to them. This early in the morning, the baby's still technically asleep. You want the parent to get as much sleep as they can. But so I got the mom that's asleep, the baby that's asleep, and then the dad is doing whatever. And I don't know. I won a debate in history, boy. Or more like the 19, but I won MVP. Congratulations. You still didn't answer my question last night. I don't know what your argument was. You told me that what it is, the topic or whatever, but angelicism or whatever, I don't know what that is. I was hoping that you would let me know what it is, but you didn't, so. I only lost one debate when I was in high school, in debate class. Only one of them. Every other one I won. The reason why I lost that one was not by the class. The class decided I won. The teacher decided I lost. And the reason why was because how I worded my resolution or whatever the term is called. How I worded shit. That's how I lost. Bullshit. My opponent had to come up with a topic and I had to go against it. And her topic was George W. Bush is trying to start a new world order, and it had like all this conspiracy level shit in it. And I was like, all right. The way I worded mine is George W. Bush is not going to start a new world order. Trying and going, two very different things that mean two very different things. That's what I just said. Whatever. Anyway, so that was the problem with my argument, was that he's not going to, not the fact he's not trying to. But even within my argument, it still held up if I would have switched the words. Because she like talked about NATO and NAFTA and all this shit. And I was like, okay, well obviously my opponent here, she's researched some fucking clever acronyms, but she doesn't know what any of them mean. NATO is the North American Trade Organization, or whatever. And NAFTA, what is that? The North American Free Trade Association or some shit. They have like, both of them have to deal with trade. And I talked about how it's nothing about taking the countries in North America and formulating them into one new country ruled by the government of America or anything like that, because that's how she presented it, is that they were going to bring countries together and then the U.S. was going to reign supreme under George Bush as president, as king or some shit. And I was like, no, it has to do with trade. And as things currently stand, it's a really shitty trade agreement, but because we are... Oh, alright, I'll check that out later. So how long you have? Just until I get home. I'm just driving home, drive home stream kind of thing. So then I got some other shit going on until later, so. It's hard. I like streaming, but it's really fucking difficult for me because I have a job, so I have to be up in the morning. I have clients, and shit like that. And especially since my girlfriend goes to bed at a certain time, I can't be up all night talking. And because my son doesn't go to bed until like sometimes 7 or 8, I can't even get on until like around 7 or 8. Usually once he goes down, that's usually when I start streaming. And I want to be able to spend time with the family, so usually when I get home, I try to hang out with them as much as I can, unless I have something else going on. There's a lot of times where I'll get home, and if he's asleep, I'll go in the closet and I'll work on some stuff, or if he's like in a really bitchy mood, because he gets like that. Whenever I'm around, he thinks he can get away with murder, so he gets really bitchy. So sometimes when he gets in a really shitty mood, I'll go in the closet. Sometimes I'll stream for a little bit, but usually I'll work on something, like I'll be writing shelter, or I'll be working on like layouts for the stream or something. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, I'm like in this weird dead spot, as it were. It's like, there's a lot of things that I really, really want to do, but I just don't have a lot of time. And today, I really wanted to leave work and head to the park by my house and film a YouTube video, because that's my favorite place to film. But I'm missing like 2 things that I need to film. I'm missing my tripod, and I'm missing this stupid selfie stick, which I don't think I'll need it, but I do need the tripod. So, and I think I might hold off actually, because I do want my stream to be somewhat presentable and shit. So I'm thinking that I'll bring my computer so I can at least record my audio. Because the audio from my phone and the audio from my action camera, they suck. So if I could just have that mic with me, it'd be great. So I'll just bring the computer with me. But the computer don't last very long. It lasts for maybe an hour. So, and when you film, it's pretty extensive. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get home, he's still gonna be asleep. I'm gonna do what's called show prep. Back when I worked in radio, you would prepare for your show, essentially, especially if there's a lot of talking points and stuff. So there was a morning show that we were doing, we would prepare the different days that we would do well ahead of time, like at least 3-4 days ahead of time, so that on that day we would be ready to go, and there would be inserts in case anything topical came up. Like let's say there was something big in the news, we would have room in our show notes so that could go in. Historically, when I've done podcasts and stuff, it's always been just like that. It's always been that's how it works. So but I've learned a lot over the years. I really wish Charlotte would hit me back, because I really want to be working on some videos, and I don't know, I think working with her would actually be really good practice for me, because when it's up for my stuff, I kind of rush it. But fortunately, if I film tomorrow, what's today, Tuesday? So if I film tomorrow, I should be good to go. No problem. So I'm kind of excited for that. That's really the meat and potatoes right there. Is if I film tomorrow, I basically have all weekend to work on that one video, because I'm planning on having a video come out on Tuesdays. So the idea is, I would like 2 videos a week, and I'm thinking of doing Taskrabbit tips, and yeah, there was 2 that I was planning on doing. One was Taskrabbit tips, TRT, and the other one was, they were both Taskrabbit and handyman and independent contractor related, all gig economy stuff. So one of them would be more centralized on the gig economy, and one would be very centralized on Taskrabbit. But the thing is I would be filming these things outside of the closet, so you would get some sort of scenery and whatnot. Mainly like outside of the back of the truck, outside the back of the SUV. Like I already have I have it in my head what I want, so I'm kind of I'm excited to film it, but I need to take some notes. I gotta ask Ashley if she, or I gotta ask Fake Wife if she has fucking flashcards, index cards, just so I can have them on hand. So. Idiot. Anyway, this fucking asshole ahead of me. Anyway, so the one on Tuesday, I believe it's going to be a Taskrabbit tips video. Definitely, and it's gonna have to deal with what's my carry. Oh yeah, and another one, life lesson videos. I am going to be, so that one will come out Friday. I am extremely fucking limited though, because my phone it can't record a whole lot because it doesn't have a lot of space on it. And that's, even if I were to dump everything off of it, I still would not be able to record a whole lot. So I kind of have to have my computer with me so that when it fills up, I can dump it onto the computer and then hit back record again. It's just a headache. So, man, I had an awesome fucking camera, and I loved it. And it was wonderful, and I loved working with it, and it was great, but I didn't have any money. I needed the money, so I had to sell it. And I sold it for like a third what it was worth. In the used market. Like, in the used market, this camera was going for a pretty fucking penny. It was going for at least $500. And I sold it for like $200, just about. Well, I included my microphone with it, my shotgun mic, which the shotgun mic alone was $70. So, yeah, I damn near gave that thing away, which sucked. But, hey, shit happens, you need the money. and there wasn't really much else I could do at the time. But fortunately, my life has gotten to the position where that's not the case anymore. But I don't have any excess money to be able to go and get other shit. I had to sell it because if I remember, it's because I wasn't terminated from Amazon Flex at the time. I was still a part of it, but no, wait, I was terminated. I was right after I got terminated from Amazon Flex. I was mainly doing DoorDash, and we were barely making it. Like every month we were in the hole, every single month, and that went on for a while until I went to Silver State, and I worked at Silver State long enough just to bump up to kind of clear myself out, still in the hole. But then I got on Taskrabbit, and I went back to the gig economy stuff, and I restructured shit. Another thing I'm going to do is just like what's his name was saying, Taskrabbit or Amazon Flex. If I can get back on Amazon Flex, hell, even just for the rest of this month, if I could do Amazon Flex like twice a week, that's $90 each time I do it. So that's like an extra $180 a week, you know, and I would spend about $40 on gas, so that's an extra $140 a week. Fuck it, dude. The only downside is I have to empty out the truck. And that's, you know, it is what it is. But so far we've been really good financially. We've been sustainable. Didn't know I was a good debater. Oh yeah, there's mainly two schools of thought. There's the Ben Shapiro school of thought, where your supporting evidence is so overwhelming it destroys the competition. Basically, that you've done your research so thoroughly that your opponent really cannot oppose you in any fashion. That's one school of thought. The other, to being a good debater, is the charm. That's where you have your Milo. Still really well researched, but mainly his charm is what wins people over to his side. And then, of course, in the middle, you have Steven Crowder, which is the best of both worlds. Because Steven Crowder, even though he has that charm, he has that charisma, he focuses on research. Ben Shapiro focuses on research, and the charm comes from essentially his rhetoric and his tone with how he talks to people and stuff. That was Crowder. Well, good shit, dude. I would think in some sort of typical like school debate, like school, like anything that has to do with academia, you would want to be more on the Ben Shapiro side. It's just far more professional. But like, let's take a look at politics, for example. It's like the political thing. You're trying to rally a lot of people to your side. You need to be a Milo. You need to be a Steven Crowder, because there's been a lot of great debaters out there, but their downside is that they're not charming. They don't have charisma. Like, look at Bernie Sanders, for example. Bernie Sanders was able to rally people to his side only because he kept telling them what they wanted to hear. But what ultimately was his downfall was lack of research, lack of vetting, and obviously the DNC that fucked him in the ass with no lube. That happened too. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to schedule myself out pretty good. Oh wait, hold on. Oh fuck, dude. I don't know what happened to your message. It's gone. I think it said something about you use the weakest points of your opponents against them. That's another really good tool. That's essentially what I did. Is I would use very little research on my end. Very little research. I would basically get bullet points, cliff notes. I would reinforce like with the main points. You know, I wouldn't get like hard statistics and numbers unless it was very viable. But my main focus was to research my opponent. Find out what my opponent's going to research. See what like is the most credible thing to their cause and fucking destroy it. I wouldn't focus on reinforcing mine. All I had to do was make my opponent uncredible. If I can prove that my opponent is uncredible, that forces people to my side. I don't have to reinforce myself very much, and that's basically American politics. Everyone focuses mainly on destroying the other people. Oh, hypocrisies, of course. You definitely want them to kind of contradict themselves. You want them in their position to not be able to stand on its own 2 feet. Easy peasy. You know, the way I look at things, language is a very volatile thing. Because, and it kind of boils down to semantics. That's where you're using different words to describe the exact same thing, right? So people are like, oh, we're just arguing semantics now. But when you say that, you're agreeing that you both agree to the same thing, however you don't, because your position on the different words is so extreme. Let's take a look at the fucking gender bullshit, right? Gender is sex, right? Gender and sex are inexchangeable words for the most part. The problem is the left, while I'm streaming, I can't do both. Yeah, when I'm on my phone, I can't go into Discord. You know, it just doesn't work. So the left and all these SJW NPC fucks, they say that, oh, well, gender and sex are 2 different things. Like, there's your biological sex, but gender is just also a construct. And it's like, you're adding shit to where it doesn't need to be. If you were to focus on personal identity, perfectly fucking fine. By all means, go for it. Enjoy. You know? I think identity, what you personally identify as, that's a very personal thing. But forcing the world around you to make you label what your identity is, that's a little fucked. Because it's an imposing on the world around you. It's perfectly fine. I'm all about personal liberties. You want to be whatever you want to be, go for it, as long as you're not hurting no one else. The moment that you start forcing other people to change everything and how they view the world and the language that they use, and that's when it becomes a problem. You're blaming society for all this stuff. You force society to change, you know, rather than just accept shit for the way it is. And me, I've always kind of been pro-gay. I'm perfectly fine with, I don't care what your sexual orientation is, because it doesn't apply to me, okay? It doesn't matter to me. I just don't give a shit. If 2 guys are gay, 2 girls are gay, who gives a fuck? I don't care. It does not affect me. So that's kind of the position I've always had. So my hashtag no homo. Yeah, man, it's because it's like, it's personal. You know, the moment that it goes away from being personal is when it becomes a problem. Like, there's a lot of people in the LGBTQ community that are like, if a gay guy goes after a straight guy, the straight guy's homophobic because he doesn't want to do gay shit with the gay guy, right? So instead of that, you know, instead of them like being realistic about it and being like, hey, if you're gay, you should probably go after gay guys instead of straight guys, they want the world to formulate to them. It's like, well, he should at least try it. You know, I want it. I want to have it. So he might not like gays. He may not like, you know, gay stuff, but he should give it a try. Otherwise, he's homophobic. It's like, no, it's not homophobic just because you don't want to suck a dick. I mean, it makes you not gay. Doesn't mean that you hate gay people or are afraid of them. You know, I've been told that I'm transphobic and stuff. I don't give a fuck about trannies. They can do whatever they want. Have fun. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that if you're born with a dick, you're a dude. Nothing can change your DNA, all right? Now, in 250 years, when we can do crazy things with genetics, then by all means, for all we know, in 250 years from now, we might have the technology to where it can alter your DNA, change up your chromosomes to where you are technically a female and can do all that shit. But we're not at that level, okay? So until that day comes where we can confirm that your DNA has been changed from male to female or female to male, then, you know, it just is what it is. So, Think of it like this. I'm a guy, right? Let's say my brain, my thought, my consciousness, everything that makes me who I am outside of my physical body, everything up in here. Let's say you take all of that and you put it into a female body. Technically, I'm a fucking female. I identify as male because everything that is me follows suit with being a male, but I'm in the body of a female. So that just is what it is. It's a personal thing. It's identity. I would identify as a man, but I would come to grips with the fact that I'm in a female body. So make me pay for your HIV meds. Well, yeah, that's another thing too. I am perfectly fine with paying for contraceptives. I'm not okay with paying for abortions. I think preventive medicine is wonderful. Okay, if you're gonna I think that if we could do government-run I'm not big on universal health care, but I'm perfectly fine with the government providing health for its citizens. So let's say the government did cancer screenings free of fucking charge. I mean, obviously the taxpayers are paying for it. Some sort of sometimes. Sorry, I sometimes say offensive stuff without meaning to. What are you talking about? I didn't see anything offensive in that. So, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with government subsidizing people getting checked out for cancer early. If the government were to flip the bill for that, that's my taxes going towards a good thing. That's my taxes going towards the health of the nation. You know? The problem with universal health care is that it would be completely and utterly fucking abused. That's the main problem with it, okay? Look, all over the world, a lot of people that are grossly overweight, because being overweight is it's a medical disability. You can get paid from the government. So sit at home and eat all the fuck you want. You don't have to fucking go lose weight or anything. You can be as fat as you want for as long as you want. Being gay and having it's real funny when you bring it up. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't get offended at that. Some people might, but fuck them. Just because you're gay doesn't mean you're gonna get HIV. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, it was it was a time in the world where it was a 7% chance if you had sex with a dude you would get AIDS. Now, you can damn near have sex with anyone and get AIDS because of how widespread it is. Yeah, nowadays you're far more likely to get HIV from anybody. So, what are you doing, dude? Ugh. Alright, so this might cut out because I'm going to a bad area. Basically, this month I need to make enough money to pay the bills, and I'll be good. I'm probably not going to go to Washington this month. I will probably go to Washington most likely in February, but I'm going to try to set some money aside just in case I have to go up in January. So, oh yeah, I got to have enough money to pay the bills, and I need at least $200 or $300 extra for Christmas presents. So it is going to be tight this month. It's always tight at the end of the year because of the holidays, so we'll see what happens. Right now I have about $500-ish coming in, but I don't have it yet. So right now I'm fucking dead broke. But oh fuck, I didn't get her a Diet Coke. Oh well. When I'm streaming, I totally space shit. I'm on autopilot. Probably go out later and get her one. Just so fucking tired from work. Ugh, God. There we go. So I'm headed home right now. So yeah, today that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna probably play a couple matches of Magic just to win the daily rewards. But for the most part, for the next, we should probably awake in the next 30 minutes or so. I should actually do my show prep for tomorrow before he wakes up, so I might actually just do that. And there's parking spaces available. Fuck yeah, dude. There hardly ever is.